Hello and welcome to the Knock On KCLR and Scoreline.ie's weekly rugby podcast. Lots to talk about this week. Tullow are in action against Boyne on Saturday this week. Kilkenny are away to Dundalk. Crucial matches for Kilkenny to try and prevent them from going down a division. We're going to talk the Ireland team against Italy. It's been named today, Friday, and a couple of signings for Leinster over the week as well. Jenkins from Munster included. We'll talk about all that. We've got Tom Crotty from Carlow Rugby Club and Tobin from Tullow on the show. Lads, how's it going?
How are you, Steve?
Sure, I'm good.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back, is right. Johnny's been in France and everywhere over the last 2 weeks, so he's a well-travelled man now at this stage. I suppose, Johnny, you're off this weekend. You have no Leinster League match, but a loss to Boyne last weekend as well. How did that match go, or how did you see it?
Yeah, sure. Look at it. It is what it is. I'm just quite happy to be back and just to gloat to Tom, just to remind him that
even a few weeks later,
had one chance this year to knock Tullow down to Division 2A, and they stuffed it. So
we wouldn't like to see it down. There'd be no fun in that, Johnny.
There'd be no fun.
No fun in that.
No, but there'd be a lot of bragging rights in it, though, wouldn't there?
Sure. Sure. That's only.
No, look at you. We're struggling again for backs. We've I think we've 5 injuries in the back line.
Wow.
Bad concussion, 2 separations, an ankle and a shoulder, and we are where we are. We weren't going to Boyne expecting to win, but we weren't too far off it in the end. They got a late score to make the scoreline go up a little bit higher. But all focus now is on New Ross in 2 weeks' time, or 10 days' time, the Towns Cup. So hopefully get a few lads back, and that can go well, because New Ross is no easy place to go and get a win, and they're on good form at the minute. So after winning Division 2B, coming up to 2A, so it'll be all good now.
Absolutely. Tom, you had a weekend off last weekend, but Clondalkin, a big match for you now coming up this weekend as well. Saturday this week.
We have Clondalkin this weekend. It's a good tester now coming in, because we want to have a stiff game against Longford in the Towns Cup in the following weekend. But no, we've most of the lads back for this weekend. There was a couple of niggly kind of injuries and stuff, and we just wanted to kind of get everything back on form. So look, we're happy. Clondalkin going to come down, and actually they're in a position too. They want to go into their cup games in Dublin, so they want to come down. So it'll be a bit of kind of a ding dong match, but it's more bragging rights just at the end of it. But at the end, we need a game just coming into next weekend. And Clondalkin said they're in the same position, like they need a game coming into their cup match. So with all the injuries and everything that we have back, we hope to hopefully get a win. And if we get a win on Saturday, it'll be great, just to give us a bit of a boost coming into as I said, Longford away next or Longford at home next weekend in the Towns Cup. So it's a big one for us just to get things right again. We just need to. I would say, like, we had a very tough game against Tullow, we all know that, and there was a lot of niggles and soreness after the game. So the week's recovery kind of actually did the work. The lads had a good break, and they probably needed more than anything else. As I say, there was a lot of sore bodies on the Monday morning between hangovers after the seconds win and everything, and the old sore muscles and so on after all the bangs. But look, it is what it is. We'll have good game there on Saturday. Hopefully we get a few up to watch it, and as I said, the bar will be open for the old games afterwards. So I hope to have a few libations and be happy with that.
Absolutely, and it gives us a bit of time it gives us an extra day as well ahead of the Towns Cup match the following week, and of course absolutely. To watch Ireland-Italy, of course, as well.
Absolutely.
Give people an opportunity to do that. Geez, lads, I can't believe the Towns Cup is on top of us already. It doesn't belong about going around. It was games being moved around with COVID and all before Christmas, and now the restrictions are being lifted on Monday, and here we are about to tear into a Towns Cup campaign. But
I reckon we should do live feeds from Towns Cup matches, Stephen.
Absolutely! I'll do a live stream.
You have time to be doing live feeds.
And then if there was anything wrong at a Carlow Longford game or a Tullow Ross game, we couldn't get in trouble for it because we'd set it live, so it'll be all right. We'll fix it another day.
I could set up live streams to all the matches and have you on this and cross over. Of course, you can't bleep out the cursing though live. It's hard to do.
One thing is for sure, I won't be going to Ross. So, that's one thing for sure.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, though, Tom and Johnny. The Towns Cup always a different kettle of fish, of course, and it's great to have
It's
cup
great.
rugby.
Creates great buzz around the town. A lot of people come out to the rugby club that you'd never see out there. They don't, and they do it every year. Like, it's not a problem. They live for the Towns Cup. They go out and watch Towns Cup games, and just the crowds out there on Sunday if there's Towns Cup home game. Be great, It's just good old crack, like so. Yeah, hopefully we get the win in New Ross and we get a home game from the following draw.
Yeah, you should do though, Johnny. I mean, you have your team is starting to fire. I know your results earlier on the season weren't what you would have expected normally, but I mean, it's a good side you have there. So I don't see.
Yeah, it's just,
I mean,
it's like a lot of clubs. New Ross is a very hard place to go and get a win.
Yeah, I know.
I remember going down to them.
Hope you do.
I think was it Morris's very first year with us? I think it was about 6 years ago. We went down to play them, and I think Aho and Frank Murphy played that game. Willie Cass. I think Willie Canavan was injured. We had a really good team. We only beat them 10-0.
Yeah.
So like it's a very hard place to go, and they're very proud of their club. They put up a massive fight, like so. It'll be a good game now for anyone that is willing to go to a Towns Cup game next Sunday to head down to New Ross. It'll be a good game to watch now.
Yeah, it's a good game to start. It's the same with us now in Longford, and it's 1-1 with ourselves in Longford. So
a grudge match there, Tom.
I know, that's all forgiven. No good matches. We have one each now, and we have one each now. As I say, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game, but I presume we'll review that next week, and we'll see after this weekend how we fare.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, well, this week should be a good week for you to use for shape and stuff. No disrespect to Clondalkin, like, but they wouldn't be at the races with Carlow, like, to be fair, like they're probably using this week as the same thing, get a few lads out.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hoping from it, that they will come down. I mean, they said themselves like they were on for this game, even more so than last weekend, because even with the weather and that. Hopefully this weekend the weather will be calm, because they really want.
Tullow's available, Tom, if you need us.
Lovely, can you?
We'll give you the carpet.
No. All we want is just get out on Saturday and just enjoy a run around and just kind of, as I say, get your shape together. Get a good training session.
Tom,
yeah, we're playing Saturday. Get a good session.
What time is that, Tom?
That is at 1 o'clock.
Oh, what time
to go? Oh, well, if it goes out, you have to go drinking.
Well, don't know if the wife will let me. I go over anyway.
You might get home, Johnny.
I'm stuck in Oak Park. I might get over alive.
That's it.
You've sold it to him, Tom.
You could be stuck in worse places, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
That's it. With everything going on, lads, the Towns Cup and all that, of course, Kilkenny have a bye in the first round, but they've other fish to fry, particularly this weekend. And the following weekend, they're playing as well. When you're starting your Towns Cup campaigns, they're away to Dundalk this weekend, a very, very tough match, but they've got 2 games to try and save their season. I don't envy James Blanchfield and the Kilkenny lads of what's ahead of them now this weekend, the following weekend.
No, and considering Gorey are after really turning form, and they're now third from bottom. It's Dundalk and Kilkenny in the bottom 2, whereas 2 weeks ago you would have said Gorey are definitely going down to 1B.
That result last weekend was a mad result for Gorey. Like that absolutely came out of the blue.
Yeah, it's crazy. Kind of got a shock when fair,
we were driving the car and the young lads said, "You won't believe it, says Gorey, you're after winning and winning well." So
if you're in 1A or 1B like ourselves, you're praying for Gorey and Kilkenny to come down 2 half-an-hour, 40-minute travels. You don't want Dundalk.
It's true. No, we don't want James. In fairness,
James, come on down. You'll be great crack.
Well, that means we will more than likely have Tullow, Kilkenny, Carlow, and a tie all in the one division. So it'll be a nice little round robin.
Yeah, and
nice little short.
35-minute spins either way. So it's great.
The club expenses.
James will be the long away man.
Yeah, James, we have to go to Kilkenny this week. Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah. A half-hour drive to kill you. No, that's it. So hopefully now, fingers crossed, and Kilkenny do the business anyway. But James,
you'd hope they would. You'd hope that it's great for the Southeast to have teams in 1A as well. Like so, you'd hope Gorey and Kilkenny could stay up and
well, they work really.
Whatever about Dundalk come down, you wouldn't mind it.
Work hard, and they've worked really hard to stay there for the last couple of years. So we'll wish them the best of luck at the weekend. Hopefully now they'll do it. because I know
Absolutely.
I think they're effective the last game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a tough one to go. So they've got to try and get the win this weekend and give them a real boost going into the last game.
Absolutely. I wish them all the best. We'll move on to international matters. The Ireland team is just after being named. This podcast being recorded on Friday. So it's a lot of change. You can see it on your screens there, lads. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can watch the podcast on YouTube as well. It's up on the screen. So a fair few changes in there. Obviously, with it playing Italy and everything, with due respect and all to the Italians. So Michael Lowry is in for full back. Mark Hansen stays in there as well, but James Lowe, Tom's favourite, is in there at number 11. Gary Ringrose and Robbie Henshaw.
My daughter's favourite now.
Yeah. He did well against Leinster, in fairness, or for Leinster last weekend. That was a great try.
We were up at the game, and I have to say, when he came on, I mean, there was a big boost when he came on. There was a bit of crack, but geez, that was absolutely phenomenal try. Phenomenal try.
Tom, he's the best winger in Ireland at the moment.
He's one of them anyway.
I want to hear you say it, Tom.
I'm not saying that yet.
Simon Zebo is a poor man's James Lowe.
You still didn't get a hat-trick in this game.
That's where you're playing nobody, for God's sake.
There was a lot of debate about all that stuff over the weekend.
I would have scored a hat-trick against them.
I like Zebo because he makes me feel better carrying the few pounds, you know.
Tom, we're going to get the podcast's going to get cancelled now, Tom. Lads.
Yeah, Zebo, we love you too.
Yeah,
but hey, lads, to be serious about the team, that's the front row would start against the All Blacks. Obviously, Dan Sheehan, you mightn't start him there, but with lads been injured, he probably would be the next option in.
No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, he had a cracking game. When he.
It's not a million miles off the second row either.
No.
You know.
No, I've no issue with Dan Sheehan coming in. He's earned that spot to start against Italy, and of course he's well looked after there with Andrew Porter and Tyke Furlong.
He played very, very well when he came on against France.
He did. He did nothing wrong at all.
Like that cover tackle he made there was, you'd see a centre do it. Like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Tyke Byrne and Ryan Baird are in the second row. That's as expected, of course. Injuries to Henderson and James Ryan, of course, got injured in training, I think, this week. So that is that. But that's fine. Ryan Baird is up and coming. He's a young lad as well. He's flying it for Leinster. So, you know,
he's a very good player.
Exactly.
Player.
It's good to have him in there. Give him a bit of time as well. He's quite an athlete as well, but he's only a young lad. He's only 21, I think, or 22.
Yeah.
He's only a chap really, but really growing into that as well. Great to see Pierre O'Mahony get a run out there at 6. Of course, that's at the expense, of course. There's a couple of lads being moved around there as well. Josh van der Fleer's at 7, Ken Dorsey's 8, so Jack Conan makes way and he's on the bench. And Jameson Gibson Park at 9. Jameson Gibson Park being left at 9 as opposed to starting Craig Casey and seeing how he gets on. What do you think of that one? Maybe just to leave.
No, I think you need to build up that rapport between Joey Carberry and Gibson Park.
It's to build a partnership. It's not.
If anything, it's that rapport to get it firing, because I mean, we all know that. Fingers crossed, Johnny will be grand to get through the rest of the game. I suppose if anything happens, we need that partnership to be firing.
I think this is a World Cup partnership there.
Could be, yeah.
I think so,
make the 2023 World Cup. That could be the World Cup halfbacks we have.
Yeah,
good point. Look at that centre partnership. Robbie and Gary reunited again. Of course, Robbie Henshaw, a line same as Bundyaki, but when you Bundyaki fit and that as well, it's very hard to take him out of that team. And that at the expense of Robbie as well. So it's a good complaint to have, but not for Robbie, I suppose. But that's a great centre partnership as well. And then Mac Hansen and Michael Lowry's earned his call up there at fullback as well. In fairness to him, he's done nothing wrong for Ulster. So can't complain. Rob Herring, as expected, to cover at hooker and to give Dan a shot out there and see how he goes. Dave Kilkenny, of course, covering at loosehead. Finlay Bealham is still in. Kieran Treadwell was a bit of a surprise, I think, was he?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I wouldn't have imagined now him being in there. But like you said, Ian Henderson and James Ryan are injured, so you're going down the well there. Where else do you go? The next two best second rows are starting. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Dave Kilkenny actually is a surprise for me. I actually thought you'd see Cian Healy there. I know Dave made his 200 appearance for Munster on the weekend, but I would have thought you would have seen Cian Healy rather than.
I'd say they're giving Dave Kilkenny a run to get back in. You know, I mean,
maybe so because he's been in thereabouts at the fringe for a while.
Yeah, and he's that little bit younger than not a whole lot, but he's that bit younger than Cian Healy.
Maybe so.
And I'd say Peter Mahoney's there. Well, Peter Mahoney has to come in as captain because there's nobody else.
Yeah.
He has to come in to steady the ship. You know,
So
not having, but it's not like you've no other real captain on board there. So
yeah, when you look at experience-wise, if Peter, and then there's a huge gap back to the likes.
Well, there's nobody else that has captained the international team.
Yeah, well,
No,
as well. But even the age profile as well. Like,
yeah, bar Sexton and O'Mahony are probably the only two people that have captained their country at senior level in that squad.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I don't think maybe I'm wrong now. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think anyone else has.
No.
At senior levels.
And so
nice
Michael,
to see James Hume there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
I like James Hume. I think he's a good player.
He's a nice player.
I think it's plenty potential. Like this, and we need him. We need centres in the country as well. So
he'll definitely get a run out.
Nice to see him.
It'd be nice to see him getting 25-30 minutes.
Yeah. I definitely will.
I don't think Henshaw will go past 60-minute mark. Maybe I can be wrong. He's still only coming back from an injury, so I don't think he'll be pushed too hard.
Yeah, and Michael Lowry coming into full back means that our Leinster man, who's been, I think he's played nearly 80 minutes for most internationals going back, a year?
He hasn't been dropped for one international, I think, since he's made his debut, has he?
I don't think so.
I think he's played them all.
Has he been substituted even?
I don't think so either. I don't think we've ever had a full back on the bench.
Yeah.
And we don't have one now either.
Yeah, he won't know himself. He's the weekend off. He'd be like, he won't know what to do with himself.
I think he's played something like 17 or 18 consecutive international games.
Yeah, he's built up some amount of minutes, all right. But sure, he's well-earned rest as well. Tough game against France, of course. And
actually, he's a good Leinster man, Stephen. You know, Tom being a Munster man there, he's sour out lemons. But
I'm not sour.
I see York actually on Facebook the other day. It drives me mad. Andy Farrell would pick a full squad of Leinster players if he could. But like 12 years ago or 13 years ago, there was nothing but Munster lads in the team, bar Brian O'Driscoll.
Yeah.
You know?
We
weren't good enough, like.
Yeah, but it's literally you pick. I mean, you have to pick you start your best 15 players, and
if they're from Leinster, so be it.
It doesn't matter where they're from.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone. I see a lot of lads there. Actually, Dave Carberry, I'll give him a shout out. He's answering them all back with sour lemons.
No sour lemons.
Dave's a great lad to follow on Facebook and the rugby groups. He always gets back at the Munster.
Yeah, crack. Yeah, absolutely. But I know you'd have people contradicting themselves as well, going, it's a team full of Leinster players. And then the next tweet would be like, they should be picking the teams on form. And you're like going, well, that's what they are doing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
If you're to look through
it sure is what it is like, but it's gas to see, like, they've short memories in 08, and 07, and 06, and 09 even. Maybe 09 we might have Heaslip, Carney, and O'Driscoll maybe, but like there was very few.
But
that was the year of transition of Leinster players in.
To be honest, I don't think with any of the provinces can't. I mean, nobody. I mean, any real rugby supporter, doesn't matter what province you're from, looks at the players that are on form, and you
can't argue with it.
They are the only one. I mean, the only person I'm actually kind of a bit felt he should have maybe had a go was what you call him, Mike Haley.
Yeah,
Mike Haley. He's just been had a phenomenal season since season after season. He's been so steady at full back. Maybe look, you don't know what Andy Farrell. Maybe he's not the type of player that Andy Farrell is looking for. But I just felt he's probably, to me, one of the only players around that definitely, you know, should be there or thereabouts to be brought into the team. But other than that, you go look at all the panelists. They're not. We don't have phenomenal replacements in the front row. As a country, we don't have second rows. Massive replacements in the second, as in powerhouses of second rows.
Yeah,
you know, we have plenty of athletic second rows.
Yeah.
But we haven't got at the moment, we haven't got another Paul O'Connell coming along the lines and
like
and so on.
potentially Leinster have the starting first front three for Ireland and the sub front three for Ireland potentially.
Yeah.
At the moment, and that's just the way it is. Leinster's second front row is probably that little bit better than Munster's first choice front row at the moment. Like, but that's going to swing back, and even Ulster and Connacht, we can't sustain that. Like, it's going to have to take a swing back sometime.
Well, it will, and that's what happens. Speaking of second rows and all that, and Munster, Leinster, and all that, this fella's coming to Leinster next season. Jason Jenkins created quite a debate online, so it did when it was announced. I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about it. Leinster have a history, of course, of signing in or buying in sort of bulky international experience, sort of second rows. You've had Nathan Hines, Brad Thorne, I don't know, Scott Fardy, all these sort of lads over the years as well. And obviously, exactly. And like
the greatest
Leinster,
import ever.
Yeah, and that looks like what's his name, Devon Toner will be retiring at the end of the season, and then who've you left then? Ross Maloney, Brian Baird. You've only a handful of lads really left over then as well, and particularly for the URC championship and stuff like that. So,
well, you see, they're looking for a bit of bulk, and I mean, especially like last year after losing to La Rochelle, they know they need a bit more bulk there. Which just like I said, for the Irish team, we don't have many Paul O'Connells there. It's the same like. Leaving Munster, I know a gas thing, as I said earlier to you before we went online, was that there was a big hoo-ha over Jenkins being signed to Munster and why were we bringing in this second row and blah, blah, blah. And there was an awful lot of complaint. Everybody was giving out that Irish second rows weren't going to get a chance, and now he's gone to Leinster and it's A-OK. But, I mean, in fairness, it probably is A-OK, and it was A-OK to bring him to Munster. But if Leinster need it, I mean, it's the same as other teams are going to be Ulster and Connacht and Munster to have Leinster players coming out, So if that makes Leinster, if that's what Leinster need and he's in the country already, why not sign him and bring him up? Munster they have young second rows there that need blooding, and if he's there, we already have Klein, we already have bulky, solid out second row and Klein. But and what you call him, the other South African is staying next year.
RG.
His name is RG Simon is still there. So the young lads aren't going to get runs if he's there, next year.
Yep.
So he needs to go to someone that needs the bulk. And look, for the other provinces, it's probably unlucky because I mean it's going to bulk up their pack if he plays. If he plays the way he can play and stays injury free, he's going to be a big asset to Leinster's pack, just even bulk wise. So everybody's like around the park. But from the scrummaging point of view, he's a big South African. They do scrummage well, and I think he'll firm up the pack for them.
But and is he going as a glorified URC player? Because he won't be in the first choice Leinster second row, you would imagine. You'd imagine that'll be Ryan Beard and James Ryan next year.
Depending on the team, though, Johnny, but it depends on the team, though, Johnny. If they need bulk and they need solid size and you're coming up against the La Rochelles of this world and a big French pack or a big English pack.
With Ulton Delan leaving Connacht, I think the RFU could have made a move somewhere else there for Jenkins. Like, I don't know if Leinster have a conveyor belt of people coming through the system.
Yeah, but and then on the other side of it, then like we'll wait and see. But you're going to have the Bulls coming up thereafter. There's a couple. There's a few players coming back to them in the pack, coming out of France, going back to the Bulls. So I mean, the Bulls are going to strengthen up as well. So I mean, they're going to be big, powerful packs coming up. Yeah, you have to be able to compete with that.
I don't know. Time will tell. Like he wasn't. I know he's been injured, but he wasn't a regular for Munster anyway.
No.
Like, if he's not a regular for Munster, how does he reckon he's going to be a regular for Leinster?
Though, Johnny, hasn't been available for picking. He's only had.
Joey Carberry wasn't a regular for Leinster.
He wasn't a regular for Munster either. So.
I was about to say he's not regular for
and
Munster either.
And he's on the Irish team. So
Yeah, there you go.
He comes back and he's straight into an Irish squad and he'll be injured by the end of the Six Nations and he won't play any rugby for Munster at the end of the year.
it's all right. We're blood.
Super Duke can't keep class together, lads.
They're blood and young lads down there. It'll be grand. It'll be grand at the end of the day.
But Leo Cullen seemed fairly convinced. Well, you know, in his press conference when he was asked about it, he was all about. He said he's great asset. He knows about the South African teams. We need that. Blah blah blah. Like Leo sold it to me anyway in terms of how he answered the question. So yeah, it's a wait and see, like anything. Yeah.
Well, he hasn't made a bad choice yet. I mean, there's no player that they bought in hasn't really performed. Do you know? Look at what they bought in. They buy well.
Anyone that goes into Leinster normally leaves as a better player.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Or they passed on. If they passed on, you know, Nasewa and Rocky Elson, all those have brought so much to Leinster. Over the years.
Like the biggest mistake Leinster have made, in my opinion, in the last 10 years is
Kirshner.
Tyke Byrne.
All right.
You listened to an interview with Tyke Byrne the other day where he was talking about giving up rugby.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like he left Leinster, went off, and came back, went to Munster, found himself. And in my opinion, Tyke Byrne's the best second row in Ireland at the moment, anyway.
But again, he's not the big. He's fantastic player, but how do you bulk? He still needs.
He's very physical, though.
Still needs a big physical boy.
Yeah,
when it comes to the games.
There's a bit of a one-trick pony thing about him as well. I don't know.
He has improved. I think
he has everything. He's a great left boot on him too when he puts boot to ball.
Yeah, he did against France anyway.
He's a very versatile second/back row player, let me tell you.
No, he's fan, and I'm delighted he got his contract again and signed up because he seems to be. Look, isn't it? You know, we say it about kids. When kids are playing, you just want them to enjoy the rugby, and I'm sure it's the same for any player. You know, especially at that level where their pressure's on. If you put them somewhere where they enjoy the rugby, and if he's enjoying his rugby down there,
he seems to be enjoying the system and the setup there.
Yeah.
Lads, before we leave, the Byrne brothers 10 and 12 for Leinster last week, and they're named at 10 and 12 again.
I thought you were talking about the Carlow Byrne brothers. Sorry.
Oh no! It'd be great to get them back together. But Ross and Harry, of course, played that 10-12 thing last week. It was good. It worked. It was dynamic. It basically had two ball distributors, and you know, if you had Ross Byrne stuck at the bottom of a ruck or getting a bit busy in contact or whatever it was, you had Harry out the back moving the ball very quickly out as well. So
well, that was Bernard Jackman did a nice piece on it there over the week.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It worked. I'd actually like to see it the other way around, though. I'd like to see Harry at 10 and Ross at 12.
Well, I honestly couldn't see him why he got man of the match. I really thought they just must have been just handing it out to give everyone a chance.
Harry?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would have been deserving of it.
No.
He was in the pot with a few lads.
O'Brien was
Jimmy
O'Brien was
savage,
absolutely outstanding. There was two or three more players on the pitch that played just so well, but he was just outstanding from start to finish.
Yeah, there was a few you would have given it to Tom.
They were kind of there when he said Byrne, they're going, huh? Oh,
which one?
Definitely not. I thought he was all right, but I don't know.
Yeah, his distribution was good. Like, in fairness, he put one or two lads in for a try as well. Just good, clever decision making, I think.
You see, looking at him though, last weekend, he's not international standard. Not yet, anyway.
Jesus, no.
He's,
you
neither
of them are.
Neither of them are.
You put Lange up there. It's going to make
they're not international standard, and I don't even think they're either of them. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong now, but I don't think either of them are replacing Johnny Sexton's standard either at the moment.
They're not, but the only good thing about Leinster have such a phenomenal backline that if you have a distributor of the ball,
I do pass it.
Yeah. Or lads, I was talking to Louise, my wife.
James Blanchfield has a meeting starting at 3. He's not prepared. We'll work away without you, James.
James is not on the podcast, but he is messaging us here while we're on. Louise, I remember when Johnny Sexton used to come on during the Contapomi era as well, and you'd be like, "Oh no, here's Johnny."
Yeah, but that was only for a couple of weeks. 2009, Johnny Sexton was towered over Ronan O'Gara in games and stuff, It was just...
Yeah, in fairness, that Munster semi-final, the Heineken Cup semi-final.
Sexton was a different level. Like 3 years into Sexton's career, he won a Heineken Cup for Leinster. And he won it. There's no point saying any different. He won that game.
He did.
He turned it around. What did he score? Something like 22 points himself.
2011 and 2009, he was a big factor in as well. So, yeah.
There's a big difference between young Johnny Sexton and young Ross Byrne.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to see that 10-12 axis though as well. But sure, when Champions Cup games come back again, it'll revert back to the Robbie Henshaws and so on and so forth. And you'll have Johnny and Ross on the bench. So, yeah, interesting. But lads, when it comes to the local stuff anyway, sure, we'll be talking this next week. We'll preview the Towns Cup. But Tom, best of luck against Clondalkin. Fingers crossed for Kilkenny away to Dundalk on Saturday as well.
Yeah, best of luck, James, with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, Ireland, Italy will all be sitting down to watch at the weekend. And Leinster are playing tonight, Friday.
I'm actually going to Ireland, Italy. If any of us want a ticket, I have a spare one.
Here you are now, Tom.
I can't give it away.
I can't. I've
stuff on.
I'm heading up, and I have 4 tickets and they're taken. So
happy enough.
I had 1 ticket left. Like I couldn't give it away.
The family, no. I don't know. It's the man.
Is it beside you, Johnny?
What?
Is it beside you?
No, it's miles away from me. Thank God.
Oh yes.
Right,
throw
folks,
it out there.
A ticket available miles away.
I'll screenshot it. Send it across to you. My wife got this notion. She wanted to go to a rugby match for the first time in God knows how long. So I have to go up.
That's it. You'll enjoy it. It'll be good. It'll be good out.
Because I'll be the more Six Nations match this year than I've ever been to.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that either, Johnny.
No.
I used to cover them all for KCLR once upon a time, but
the French one was the best one. The French stadium was class.
Yeah, say so.
Yeah, you got a lucky old one there, didn't you?
I landed on my feet there, right?
10 you did. Absolutely.
Don't hate the player, lads. Hate the game.
Lads, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks a million. Johnny Tobin from Tullow Rugby Club. Tom Crotty, the president of Carlow Rugby Club. Best of luck in your endeavours this weekend. And enjoy the rugby as well. We'll be back to you next week.